In this video, we're going to have a look at TV and movies and how you can use these as topics for your emails. So have you got any movie or TV star ideas that you could use as an email subject today? You know, what was out when you were growing up? What were the movies that were in the cinema when you were growing up that you could speak about? Maybe something that happened on the way to the TV, to the movie, something that happened in the movie, or maybe how the movie had left you. For example, in Star Wars, you know, how it was such a big deal back then when it did come out, special effects and everything else. You know, could use something like that as a subject for your email. You know, what movie was a big disappointment to you? You know, maybe some movie that everybody else is speaking about that maybe it's a huge Oscar winner, but to you it's you just can't see, you know, what everybody else can see in it. Or then, have you got a weird taste in music? You know, in movies. You know, what movies do you kind of go to all the time? You know, are you an action type person? Are you someone maybe who just likes watching maybe old black and white movies? You know, in my case, I probably have a weird taste probably in science fiction and stuff like that then too. And even maybe going back and watching some of the old black and white science fiction movies, maybe with poor special effects and, you know, poor, you know, everything, it just looks ridiculous. But, you know, I find it, for some reason, I find them enjoyable. You know, so have you got a weird taste in movies you could use as an email topic? You know, are you a comedy or drama type person? You know, are you only a person who goes to movies maybe for a laugh, or, you know, maybe just for a good cry or something like that? Or do you like drama? What is your taste in movies? Could you use that as an idea for a topic today? You know, what's the earliest movie memory you have? In my case, I can remember the earliest movie memory I have is when the old Evel Knievel movie came out many years ago. I remember my father taking me to it and I mean mesmerised by watching Evel Knievel jump over trucks and buses and all that in a motorbike, and that memory still stayed with me. So what's your earliest movie memory? You know, what was the last movie you went to? You know, was it good, bad? Again, you know, what's the general consensus? Is everybody saying it's good, but you can't see the good in it? Or maybe you just can't believe that so many people would pay so much money to go and see such a, you know, a pile of tripe or whatever, you know, think is ridiculous. So, you know, what's the last movie you went to, and, you know, and how you feel about it? You know, or even as a writer, then there's probably movies maybe that you've seen maybe that have a disappointing ending. You know, how would you finish a movie that disappointed you? In the case of, I might have said it before, in the Matrix movies, the trilogy, the first one was the best, but by the end of the third one, I think the whole thing fell away and the ending was very disappointing. So in my case, I know exactly how I would turn that movie around and, you know, how I would change it. So has there been any movies that have disappointed you and that you could, you know, rewrite? You know, and, you know, have you ever met a movie star or gone to where a movie was filmed? You know, have you gone to any film locations? In my case, many years ago, I was in Germany and I went to the film set where they made Das Boot, and there was another movie too, I can't actually think of it. It was kind of like a Robinson Crusoe kind of in space thing, but it was a German kind of film studio and they filmed it over there, so we had a chance to actually walk to the set and go into the spaceship and all that. It was still all there. So have you been to a movie set, or have you met a movie star? You know, what about a book that was made into a movie? Could you talk about it? Maybe you've already read the book many months before the film actually came out, and how does it compare? And, you know, maybe you could speak about your own books and movies and stuff like that then too. Which ones maybe you would like to see made into a movie? You know, you're disappointed, or you like how the movie scene is going. You know, maybe you're disappointed with there's so many sequels, and maybe you can relate that to, you know, the poor writing, that nobody seems to have any imagination, that they just seem to be just rehashing the same topics over and over again. You know, maybe you've gone back to TV because there's more kind of better writing in TV compared to movies nowadays, more kind of original ideas. You know, has the death of a movie star saddened you or brought back a story you could use? You know, so nowadays there's a lot of the old movie stars maybe that I grew up watching TV have, you know, passed away. So like the old Batman and, you know, some of the cast from TV shows maybe that, you know, that I would have been a big fan of, and it's, you know, it's sad to see them going, and maybe I might have a memory of watching that TV show then that I could use as an email topic. You know, if you could make a movie about one of your books, you know, which one would it be and why would it be? You know, who would you like to see as the, you know, the main character in your book? What actor would you like to see playing that part? You know, who would you like to see directing it? If you had the ideal kind of bank account, that the checkbook that you could write the perfect cast, who would you cast your book to? and speak about that. Do you have any movie memorabilia? Are you a collector of anything at all, or maybe you've got a stub ticket for something from a movie you've seen many years ago, or maybe you've picked something up at auction or something like that, or you've been to one of the, even though it mightn't be kind of exactly from the movie, but maybe you've been to something like, say, for example, maybe the Harry Potter tour, maybe in Florida, and maybe you've just bought a couple of Harry Potter cups or kind of replicas of stuff that were actually in the movie. So have you got stuff like that? Have you got an actor's signature? Maybe you could write about the chance of how you came upon that actor, and getting the signature and how it went down. Who is your favorite actor, or TV, movie, whichever, why? What makes them stand out compared to all the other actors? Again, I've said there, if you could pick an actor as the main character of a book, then who would it be and why? What's the latest blockbuster coming out right now? Are you interested in going or not? Again, it could be maybe something you could bring up, saying that you're disappointed in how, there's so many sequels and prequels and all this stuff, and doesn't seem to be any original imagination. And then another one then too, maybe is, have you got a movie collection? Although DVDs are kind of obsolete now, there's hardly anybody buying DVDs. Have you still held on to that old DVD player, or maybe the video player, and maybe you actually have videotapes of movies, and maybe you could take a couple of snapshots and photographs maybe of the shelf of the DVDs, or you could just speak about them, so it'll kind of let your subscribers know a little bit more about you, letting them into your life, And have you got an idea for a book from a movie? Maybe there's some movie that inspired you. Again, maybe you had a disappointing ending, and you kind of says, well, I'm going to do it the right way, and then you just wrote a kind of, your own version of the book. And so have you got the idea of a book then from a movie? Have you got a favorite scene or quote from a movie? Maybe some scene that that stands out in your mind over and over again, or maybe the perfect line that was said at the perfect time that conveyed a lot of something. It maybe remind maybe an old memory or something, or maybe something a parent said a long time ago, or something a friend had said, but when you hear that quote, it reminds you of something. So maybe you could use that as a topic for an email. Again, and then finally then, what movie or TV show could you watch over and over again? There's some TV shows or movies that we have that it doesn't matter how many times we've seen it, word by word, but we still get, great, we never get bored watching it. So, have you got any movies or TV shows that you watch over and over again? Could you try and explain why you feel that, why they appeal to you, and why you'll never grow fed, you won't grow tired of them, and maybe it's to do with the cast or, the writing or whatever it is. So that has been the video on using movies to come up with topics. So that is it. So I'll see you in the next video then. Okay, bye-bye.